Viewers and subs, welcome back to class. Thank you for tuning in. In today's video, guys, I'm going to show you how to fix a wrinkling problem. So this problem starts as soon as I apply the base coat. Now, this is a new Lexus front bumper, and I cleaned it down and applied adhesion promoter, applied the sealer, and then the base coat, and then this happens. It just in this one specific area. So first thing I did, guys, I scuffed it down when I noticed it the first time and reapplied the base, but it happens almost immediately after I did that. So what I gotta do now, guys, I gotta take it all the way down to the plastic. I have to get rid of the sealer in that area. I have to get rid of the paint in this area because I'm not sure what this is reacting to. Now, I've been painting for 6 years, guys, and I've never had a problem like this. So this is a first for me. I mean, I had wrinkling problems, but not a problem that happens on a new bumper that hasn't been painted before. So sometimes I know what can happen is if you use the raw plastic cleaner and it's not dried out properly, and then you apply your sealer or your base coat over it, it might react. But in this case, I did not use that cleaner to clean this. It's just a water-based cleaner and then the adhesion promoter and then my sealer. So I was quite surprised, super shocked. I'm like, this is supposed to be an easy job. Now it's gonna take more time. Now the sandpaper grits I used to scuff out the cancer was 600, and then I finished it off with 800. Reason being, guys, this is metallic and it's raw plastic. I gotta take it down to the raw plastic, and it takes nothing to get some heavy scratches in raw plastic. So when you're prepping raw plastic, you just need a gray scuff pad, scuff it by hand, and that's good enough. Now moving on to the next step, guys, we have this water-based PPG primer, and we're gonna use it with the reducer here. No hardener required, so this is going to dry by air. So if you have an air gun, it dries almost instantly. So we're just adding 10% in here, not a lot, and you're just gonna apply this. Now what's so funny about this problem, guys, was I saw this product in the shop like yesterday, and I was like, how does this work? I was asking my buddy Brian, and he was telling me that he learned about it from the Candyman. And the very next day, here I am using the same products fixing a wrinkling problem. It's like the paint gauze is like, hey, since you're over here hinting about wrinkling, let's give you some wrinkling. That's almost what it felt like. Now, guys, with all wrinkling, you wanna use dust coat. So what I'm gonna do with this now, I'm gonna narrow my fan because I don't want primer everywhere. I just want it in that area. But bear in mind, guys, when you narrow that fan, your pressure changes. So I went from, let's see here, went from 17 psi, and when I narrow the fan, look how much psi I went to, over 46 or 45 psi here. So you want to adjust your pressure. Down here we adjust the pressure to make sure that we don't mess this up really bad. You can test it out to see how it's coming out, if the pressure is good enough for you, and I recommend dusting this, guy. Just a slight dust coat. Don't try to get it wet because a wrinkling problem is never to be sprayed wet. You're gonna always end up with the same problem over and over again. So you have to dust it very lightly. So I applied 4 light coats on here, and I didn't see any wrinkling. It didn't wrinkle not one time when I was doing it. The only thing you can see here is the rough sand scratches. Remember, it's raw plastic, so it's always leave a mark. So the primer is going to help with that. Now once the primer is dry, as I said, this is air dry, so you can dry it just by the airflow in your paint booth or a air blower. And once that's done, you get yourself a soft pad or whatever you have to use, get some water and scuff up that primer. You're not trying to get no vigorous sand in here. You just want to get this area back smooth where you can start to apply your base coat again. On the soft pad here, I'm using some 800 and just giving it the light scuff, guys. Don't burn through this. You just want to give it a light sand. So once you have that step complete, you can go ahead and clean it up and get it ready for base. Now from here I can tell I am not in any more troubles, but I still want to dust it on a little light. So the first coat I dust it on light, second coat the same thing, and then once I feel comfortable I just finish up on the last coat and make it nice and uniform. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. But might I add something else, guys? Usually this is not the kind of wrinkling problems I have. This is completely new, right? So the normal wrinkling problems that I usually have is if I go ahead and paint a car today and then I have to redo it tomorrow, and when I sand down the clear coat I have a burn through, and then I start applying my base coat too wet, and that's when it would start to wrinkle. In that case, I would just simply wait for it to flash out good enough where I can scuff it down, and then I'll add a little bit of hardener in my paint and then just give it a light scuff and dust it on lightly and repeat it till I have full coverage and no wrinkling is present. In another instance, if you have this problem, say this specific problem that we're dealing with now, if it wasn't raw plastic, I could have just got some thinner and I could wipe off all the material, and that will just have me start from scratch because I still don't know what that real problem is. My only guess is that there was something underneath the plastic when I applied the sealer and the paint, and it just reacts to it. Painting can be very tedious, it can be annoying, it just gets you frustrated sometimes. But the real problem is, guys, if you don't know how to fix the problem. That's the problem right there. You have to be able to learn how to fix every single problem. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I know you guys have a lot of experience, some of you, and if you can drop a comment down there sharing with us how you fix these problems, that would be greatly appreciated. So until next time, class dismissed.